Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today and welcome to our session on embracing AI to innovate and transform your organization. My name is Tim Morton. I'm the president of Prompt AI, and I'm thrilled to be with you here today to guide this important conversation, exploring how leaning in and embracing AI, that leaders can be innovators and transform their organization. We're seeing how the lack of understanding, how fears surrounding AI are holding back some leaders, even those that are forward thinking leaders. Today, we're going to jump into this topic, discuss how some of those fears and myths surrounding AI can impact leaders, and discuss how leaders can move past this AI resistance mindset, how they can go from being AI cautious to AI confident and leverage AI to drive innovation and efficiency. And it was about 5 years ago when we launched our first prompt AI application. And back then, when we were talking to people, they had no idea what we were talking about when we tried to explain AI. And I know now people are using it and they understand. And there's some level of understanding, but there's a lot of fear and apprehension. So I'm really excited today as we tackle this to have my guest. So I'm honored and I'm so pleased to introduce our guest speaker, Ernesto Soriano. He's the president of SA Consulting. He's a tremendous transformational leader with an incredible career in driving exceptional results for clients across industries, amazing business outcomes. Ernesto is a true leader. He's enabling businesses to thrive. And I'm just thrilled to have you here today. So welcome, Ernesto, and it's so great to have you here today.
Thanks so much, Dean. Thank you so much for that introduction. It was very touching. Oh, thanks so much. Such a pleasure to be here.
Excellent, excellent. And uh, would you like to share anything about your background and your passion and what really drives what really drives you and your business?
Absolutely, absolutely. My main drive, as I remember myself, is to innovate. I always try to find new things and be a step ahead, trying to imagine a better future for everybody. Once that my career started, I started in large corporations, in big corporations, mostly focused on marketing and sales areas. And what I found is that sometimes people people are afraid to step forward in innovating and do something different. I may understand that sometimes all those political environment and big corporations they decide not to move very aggressive into new things, and they decide to be more conservative. So in my last corporation that I work, I tried hard to move them into some technology and to adapt some new things with the smartphones. You can remember, can you imagine how it was 1999, something like that? So I tried to push them hard, and at the end, I decided to say this is not my environment. I decided to study an MBA, travel outside my country, and study outside and to learn new things, to take all my corporative things out of my head and decide to move to some new horizons. So that's when the B2B business, the consultant business, appeared in my life. I always received consultants, and it was pretty nice to see people in great suits giving you great advices that probably you implement like 40% of the idea that they shared with you, but it was a very comforting thing that how other minds think about your business. So I was very excited to be in the other side. And finally, an opportunity came. I became in 2004 a consultant, giving advice to big corporations, mostly focused on sales and marketing things. So every time that I receive a brief that I was making my brief about my meetings with clients, I always try to put something different, something. Okay, we have methodology, we have some tools, we have some solutions already proved in this consultancy firm, but why not to, even they were not that strict as a corporation, but they say, okay, but prioritize our previous tools and our previous solutions, please, and start with this, and then later, if time, budget, and relation with client permitted, allows, let's move with your idea. So every time I have this insight saying, one day I will explode with this. Someday I will move forward with this. Back in 2009, and how this artificial intelligence came to my life, I was working with the biggest bank in my country, and working with them, I was presenting a solution for branches, how to improve customer experience when they try to get loan or a saving account, to open a saving account or something with all the financial products of the bank. And so we designed all the protocols or the systematic that allow to everybody at branch to improve, to perform better with customers. And I was showing all our project to the president of the bank, and he said, okay, you need to meet one guy, 2009. I'm talking 2009. And nowadays, he's the big boss of this bank. The guy who president at that time asked me to show our project. So I met with this guy. I showed all the plan. I said, everything is here, 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 here. And he said, okay, love it. Can you please add my campaigns, my pre-qualified products into your protocol? And I said, yeah, sure, certainly. We can do that. We can start here and we can make this. And he said, love it. Please help me to include this. And I asked, what are your campaigns pre-qualified offers? And say, oh, it's something not new, but I think that it will be important. It's called machine learning. Machine learning. I know it's not an AI, it's a subset of artificial intelligence, but it's part of. Huh?
Indeed.
And my machine learning, and I was wondering, even with the name machine learning, it's something big, it's something powerful. So can you please explain a little bit more? He said, of course. We are tracking, we are analyzing all our databases. We have a lot of clients. We want clients, but we are not eager to get more clients. We want to make more profitable clients. We want to have more satisfied clients in this bank. So we are analyzing every single detail in our databases, and we are analyzing the life journey of all our customers. So for example, we have a just graduated person, 23 years old, who's coming into the bank, opening because payroll is paying in our bank, and we start to analyze all his journey, his life journey here at the bank and his regular life. And we know, because we analyze everything back, that in 7 years, he will be in the process of buying a house. So if we have all his records, if we know how much he's making money per year, if he has some increases, if we know that he is saving enough money, that he is risk adverse, that he's not a risk crazy person, and we can track their life, we know that this person in 10 years will be capable to invest in this bank that amount of money. So why don't we launch $150,000 offer in this moment to acquire his first home? And everything was through executives. That's what he was asking for. It was breakthrough for me. 2009. Now, of course, we understand everybody watching Netflix or Max television. We know that algorithms are everything on this. But in that moment, it was surprising that a bank was doing something like this. Long story short, they increased their volume in the next six years by almost 3 digits.
Brilliant. Wow. Yeah. And it makes
So
sense. And it's just amazing thinking back to that story and that journey. And no surprise that he's now the president of the organization, with machine learning on the agenda, and even thinking and recognizing uh, how being customer centric can translate into amazing numbers and retention, and that understanding too, uh, the cost of losing a client, like the cost of them losing a customer, as opposed to, hey, if I've got this person from their first job because of payroll, and I can keep them through their life journey. What an amazing opportunity for each one of those. And I think even thinking about the opportunity for quality of relation as opposed to quantity, where, hey, we're just going to try and get it as many people as we can as customers, and we may lose some of them. So I love the story. So and just thinking about, those signs of, hey, AI is coming, things are happening, and now we're just seeing the speed. So I wanted to share everyone who's joined us today. Thank you for joining us. We're going to have an opportunity for you to ask questions. So if there's questions that come in, please put them in the chat, and we'll look to answer them as we go. And the call is being recorded, so we'll make sure too that everybody that does join has the opportunity to get the recording, and we'll make sure that you can share it with colleagues or friends that can't join. So just thinking about the current landscape of AI within businesses, why why do you think AI adoption is so critical for organizations?
and a little bit continue with the same story. After
Yeah.
that I learned with that bank, my mind was open, completely open, and radically open. So I tried with some other projects, not exactly the same project, but working with some other banks because time passed. Not replicate same, but to start thinking with them about exploring something with machine learning and something with more artificial intelligence things. And my main feeling is that they don't want to take risks. Sometimes with people climb in this organization to a certain level, they have a lot to lose if they fail.
Yeah.
And sometimes, and this is human, sometimes we prefer to handle than to put in risk something. And I don't know why innovation represents risk for many people.
Yeah.
And that's the main obstacle that I found that I have been founding about how why people is not innovating about this.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? We're seeing that too. It really takes a leader to be courageous, to be able to say, yeah, if I stand pat, and if we keep the way we're going, I'm going to keep my job. But if we innovate as an organization, here's where we're going to take our organization and stay ahead of our competitors and have that competitive advantage. And it's amazing too, those leaders that innovate are the ones that get promoted. That leader that you talked about in 2009 is now the president of the bank. And it's that being courageous. And I think the other thing, when we think about AI and adopting, is we need to remember that this is change management. Like this is not just technology. We've got to bring people along, and we've got to change our processes and change our ways of working, and we've got to bring the organization along. And I think that's such a big component of the work that you do, that's so critical to ensure that, hey, somebody's taken a chance to innovate, let's bring the organization along. And it's tremendously impactful.
Absolutely, absolutely. And well, what I learned in this moment is that, well, probably you don't want to fail. There's a risk for to lose what you already have, but it's even a bigger risk not to not to walk into innovation technologies, not taking this challenge into some automatic processing, into some artificial intelligence scope, is will complicate your job, because many of your competitors are doing some moves, important moves, in order to have you in disadvantage.
Yeah.
So the big risk is not to take at least one risk. And if you can, probably in 2009, it was a very dramatic, because computers wasn't ready for this. You have to invest a lot in technology and servers, and NVIDIA was still doing some graphic processors. Now NVIDIA is doing all those microcomputers with a huge power and capacity. So now in this moment, you can step forward doing things not that costly, that will help you to improve in your market, to retain people, to improve your processes, and and to win
Yeah.
and to win this market. It's a winner decision,
It
but
it's so
sometimes you
true.
put in a balance.
Yeah, it's so true. And uh, what are you seeing when you're speaking with leaders around what their fears are, or some of the myths that they're operating on, or some of the misconceptions that they have around AI and putting AI into their organizations?
Yeah, the most important one is a math equation that they do. When you start to think about this, and you say, okay, you may invest this amount of money in innovation and in AI, they start to make math and saying, what about if I open one branch more? What if I hire a new team? What if I decide to make an app campaign with this money? And they understand what's the delta, the growing delta that they will have with these three other solutions. And these three other solutions are risk-free. The other solutions that they may take in their portfolio are less risky, and these can be a risky one that it can represent no success. So they decide to move for the traditional. They decide to keep the jobs one more year. So I think that there's on Monday I have a lunch with one client, one estimated client that we love very much in our corporation. He's in charge of all the training programs, and in a big corporation with 55,000 people. He's in charge of training of 55,000 people. Yeah, and he said, he was very honest, transparent with me, as he said, 1 year and a half ago, you told me about an AI program to train our people, analyzing all their skills and to improve everything with this and be pure injection in our training. Uh, and I felt a coward. He said like this. He used that
Yeah.
that word because nowadays I could score first.
Yeah.
Now everybody in our company is talking about AI. Now that you showed with some other area that your solutions that you're implementing some programs with AI in some other solutions, I regret myself because I decide to make some of the regular things that we already know and that we already proved. So that's the resume of this. That's
Yeah.
what I would
Yeah.
think is happening here.
Yeah, and I think it, just like we have to transition our people with leaders, we have to take the time so that they get comfortable, and support them and show them, hey, you know what, this may be a this may feel like a risk, but we know how to do it, and we know how to ensure that we're successful and you're successful, and making that promise and keeping that promise, I think, is so important. And some of what we're seeing too is a lot of leaders are fearful of their data, and rightly so, but we can protect their data. there's a lot of fear and apprehension of losing your job. But we know that if people are embracing and they're innovating, they're actually they're opening opportunities for themselves and for their teams. And
Absolutely.
and then the other misconception that we're seeing is that this is just about technology. This is It's so not. It's about your people. It's about processes. It's about your customer. It's about your competitive advantage. And and one of the last things I've been seeing is uh, this fear of, let's not do anything with AI yet, but their people are already bringing AI to work, or when they go home, they're they've got so much work to do. They're using bring your own AI to work, which is a bigger risk than not having a solution. So
Absolutely.
I think those are some of the big ones as well. So um, yeah, I wanted to just pivot a little bit, thinking about this AI innovation and resilience. And how do you feel that AI fosters resilience and that sustained competitive advantage for companies that are implementing AI and changing their work environment?
Well, the most important thing is that finally, we are in big possibilities to understand what's happening around. Always, I'm talking with some other client, with some other bank client. We were talking about we were talking about with the leader of all culture and inclusion in this bank. And we talk hard and we discuss a lot and we show our tools to implement with AI a program that can understand all the 60,000 employees in the corporation. And we say, and now you can track this with the 360 employee survey, and you can track this with the onboarding process and surveys, and you can track. And she was like listening to this, and she said, "You know that the other manager who's in charge of the 360 degrees survey is seated here in next office, and she's a big friend of mine. I have lunch with her 3 times per week, and we never cross any data along in the work. We have my I have my mission here. He has his mission there, her mission there, and we never cross information. So finally, we can do something better. We can improve better. Now, in this moment, we have the chance. We have all chances to join all our initiatives, or to join all our data, and to have one solid solution in a crazy time. It's so fast now in this moment. So I think that this is the big advantage, the big advantage that we may have in this
I,
moment.
I think you're spot on. And one of the things that we can see is removing some of those silos where, like you said, I sit, or I have lunch with this person, but we never talk. So they may be duplicating things. And one of the other things we're seeing too is that with organizations, there's so much duplication of effort. There's so many different groups who are working on reports that you know we saw with one organization, to get to one source of the truth where they never got to, there was 5 different people responsible for uh, kind of some of the elements of the same report. And you
Yeah,
just think about, people are talking about they're overworked and but what we're seeing within organizations is there's such a duplication of effort. And to be able to think about what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, how we join up different parts of the organization, and how we effectively share data and streamline so that we're not duplicating effort. We're not having multiple sources of one truth.
Absolutely.
And I think the other part too is getting to the real heart of what is happening, because there's a lot of guesswork out there without AI. But to get to, hey, this is what's really happening. This is what my customer thinks. This is what my employee thinks. This is what's happening within this department, as opposed to, well, I think that's it. And what a difference it makes. So it's about better information, better tools, and to inform decision making that isn't just, oh, okay, hey, oh, this is the way the wind is blowing today, so I'll pretend this is a great way to go, as opposed to, hey, I've got great data to make informed decisions, and we can really get behind this decision.
Absolutely, and to have people for better things, for use their brains in a better way. We have one client, and now they are 150 people just in human resources department, just in 150. Can you imagine the size of the company and the complex of this company is incredible. And they have four of them, four of those 150 people just capturing all the in Excel sheets, all the information of the training programs, capturing, and just capturing if the employee, one employee attend the training program and the qualification at the end of the training program. That's the kind of analysis that they have. And they have four of them doing this. So can you imagine how productive can be these four people, not taking notes of who attended and who didn't, but to think what's next in the training program, what are the skills that they need to do, how they are feeling about this, what new motivation they decide they must have in the job, what things are next in the same position that they are training, that they must start learning this in this moment. This is something that will that make a great asset in the company, and now we're wasting in routinary operational activities that I think must go.
Yeah, and it's not about that we don't care about them or the work, or we don't value the work. But for them, it's probably some pretty boring stuff as well, where, hey, if I have the ability to actually do something and use some more of my skills, and some of this rudimentary or manual task can be automated, the difference in even that person, how they view their job. Like I would imagine, for me, I think I'd have a little more excitement coming into the office too, if I wasn't just manually doing some of these things, and if I could get to some of the tasks that I feel really are helping my team and the vision of the organization.
Absolutely. Can you imagine
Yeah.
that value that they are giving to all the employees trained, if they are only receiving the only feedback is you attend or you're not?
Yeah.
You don't?
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. And from your perspective, from what you're seeing with organizations that are implementing AI successfully, what are you seeing as reasons why they're successful?
I found a common factor in this. When you are speaking with somebody, with some engineer person, a STEM person, it's pretty easy to have this conversation. They are already there, probably not using AI, but they understand all numbers. They are very focused on numbers and in have qualified decisions based on data. So this is important, but sometimes in some areas that they are not very in these mathematical things, it's a little bit more complicated because I don't know why they stop listening about this. When you start to say, okay, you will have data from here, and you have all those charts, and you will have all those information, they start to say, no, not in this moment. What I found is people with some affiliation with maths are more willing to take AI. But the good news here is that AI is like attending a math exams with a calculator. AI is here to help you with all this data interpretation to give you more sharp information to take better decisions, lean information.
Yeah, yeah, it's so true. And I think I think one of the things too when I think about this too is the importance of doing upfront planning and really thinking about what's our vision? What are we going to achieve? Where are we going to be when this is over? What are the things that we need to stop doing? Also, how do we involve our people in the journey? How do we make sure that they're actively engaged, that we're bringing them along this journey? Also, I think too, one of the things that's been so important is making sure that it's not just IT or technology that is
That's right.
spearheading it. I think it's getting business leaders involved. And like you said earlier, breaking down some of those silos between departments and getting leaders to be like, okay, I don't need to be an expert in the technology, but I need to champion this and make sure that it's built for my business.
Absolutely, absolutely. And technology, I don't know why in corporations it's a very crystal castle in the middle of it's something which is untouchable. Please don't open that door because it's a complicated door. And I'm a technology person. I'm not talking bad about this year. I respect very much, but so many other different departments or areas, it's complicated to start a communication with technology. So every time that they say, "Oh, you will need servers and you will need a new computer and you will have to hire a new web application or something like this," they start to fear about this. So yeah, absolutely, it's not a technology project; it's a organizational project. It
Yeah.
can be adapted to anyone, and, and what is beautiful about this is that it's democratic. It can be fitted to any kind of decisions, any kind of operations, any kind of department that you want to implement this kind of solutions.
Yeah. Yeah. And I see a lot of IT leaders who are actually looking for a partner in the business to do this. They want somebody that's the leader of the leader of culture or the leader of marketing or operations to actually stand up and say, "Hey, I'm all in, and I'm excited to partner with the technology because, as you said, it is a business. This is a business transformation and." AI is a technology enabler. It it's not gonna provide a cure for cancer, but if we put it in properly, it's going to provide some incredible efficiencies and incredible competitive advantages. But it's just that enabler, and it's that importance too of having uh, your people involved, understanding your business and how it'll impact, and really uh, finding ways to bring it to life. Because some of the AI implementations that we've seen around the world that haven't worked or that we've been asked to clean up after the fact was because the business wasn't involved. They were saying technology was saying, "Oh, this is great. People will love it." And they didn't they didn't actually involve people. And of course, natural human behavior is I'm going to be resistant to anything that's new, and I'm going to be fearful because it's going to just steal my job. So I think the big thing too is seeing it as business led, and also just involving your people, getting them prepared, getting them excited, being honest with them about the situation and what's happening from an AI perspective.
Absolutely, absolutely. Do you want to hear a fun fact about the story that I told you about the bank in 2009?
Oh, please. Yes, by all
In
means.
2009, there were 32,000 employees. They start with all this machine learning and they launch an app with a banking app. Do you know how many people are now at this bank nowadays? 46,000.
Wow.
Nobody lose their job. Probably some jobs maybe lose, but they didn't reduce any people. They increase their size, they increase the volume, and they create new opportunities for new people with new ideas and innovation in this. So this is not a threat for your job. It's a threat for a non-productive jobs. So AI can help you to be productive, more productive.
Yeah. And I think that's it. Even from that example, thinking about all of the opportunities that come, and it's not having that fear-based mentality where we're going to stay the way we are. Well, those opportunities are not there, and eventually those companies are going to have to get onto some AI anyways, because they're not going to be competitive. uh, but it's that ability to lead courageously and then find those opportunities for you and your team, which I think that's a huge example. And I think it really resonates with leaders who are trying to grow their organizations.
Absolutely. Oh,
And
we're working hard with them in the next step.
yeah. And what do you what do you how do you address, and you talked about a little bit about somebody, a year and a half ago that wasn't prepared for AI, but how do you how, how do you talk with leaders who are are resistant? Or how as a leader, like, I think the first question is how do you help a leader to get over that resistance, and then how do you help leaders to support their people through resistance to AI?
From 1 year and a half to date, is with example. Now we
Yeah,
have a very nice success cases of people adopting these programs and having great results on their organizations. So so
yeah,
this is something like with doctors. With doctors, they always say 79% of people who took this medicine, they increase, they reduce, they want exactly the same. We have 3 projects doing this, and we have these results. And after that, they say, I want it. And with this, most important thing is to start with a lot of change management in people. What we have learned here with change management is try not to show your new ideas in ways that people may feel fear, they may feel threat about. So we always try to people to say, okay, we want to implement this, we want to step forward with this. You will be help campaign. We will walk with you in this process and never let you alone. If they don't feel alone in this process, they start to step with small steps at the
yeah,
beginning
yeah,
and then with very fast and rapid steps, but they start to move forward. This is what we have learned in this. Recapping my Monday launch, he said, and now, can you imagine that I am the guy pushing organization. Once I reject your proposals 1 year and a half ago, and now I understand that I didn't
yeah,
take that risk,
yeah,
and I'm regretting for this. And I see the results that here in my same corporation, you your company, your consulting company is having. So I want to be there.
yeah,
That's the way that I'm convincing them because it's
yeah,
evident.
yeah. And even for your client, you took your client on a journey of educating and supporting and nurturing so that they could be in a position to be ready to innovate. And I think it's that's the same journey that they'll take as a leader to support their people through the change process. And you're right, that step by step, that hey, we're not just going to throw this on your desktop one day. And we're not just going to give you a half-hour training session. We're going to make sure that you know what's coming, you know what to expect, when it's coming, um, what's changing, what's not changing, and also where to get support. And I think that's such a that's such a big part of this as well, thinking about the journey of putting AI in successfully.
Absolutely. And one other thing that we notice about this is the celebrations, the celebration moment. When we achieve some good results, let's celebrate the small steps.
Yeah.
And that encourage people to continue to see that everything that they did is having results, is making
Yeah.
results.
Yeah. And for the leaders that are joining the call and that are watching, what would you say for them would be a good first step as they think about their AI journey and just kicking off that journey?
Okay. I will try to make this in a complete way. I was seeing Warren Buffett video when he said about why he's not investing in bitcoins, in some crypto. And he said, because I invest in what I know. I'm sit here and I'm seeing you having a Coke. And I know that if you drink 10 Cokes with a 30% margin, I will be making that amount of money. So that I invest in Coca-Cola. So I invest in things that I understand. And that's brilliant. And I think that's why he's so wealthy. So my first step, what my first advice that I give to all leaders is learn about AI. Start learning. Not consider this not a foggy zone, an unknown perspective.
Yeah.
Learn about AI. Read about this. Read the script. Listen to more dialogues. Not only Tim and Ernesto. Listen. Watch your TikToks, Instagrams, Reels, YouTube about AI, and you will start understanding this. And after you understand, you will be exactly the same, and you will completely follow Warren Buffett advice. Invest in what you know. Know AI. First step is learn about artificial intelligence.
Yeah. That's great advice. That's great advice. And the other thing I think too is have don't be afraid to ask questions, because sometimes what we see are leaders feel like they have to have all the answers, but you've been doing this for years and you've got a ton of experience and you're happy to share and you're going to give honest perspectives. And it's not a weakness to ask a question. It's, hey, we're all on a learning journey. So I think that, not being afraid to ask those questions, and then to be able to listen and digest and think about the impact on your business.
Absolutely, absolutely. So don't feel that you're late in this. Ask, learn, try, and you're on time. We're still on time with this.
Yeah. And for leaders that are starting out, how would they balance, getting some short-term AI wins with that long-term AI strategy?
Well, the research that I found in our clients is that it's something not necessarily with business. Well, it's with business, but not with operations. It's more financial. They don't want to be committed with some investment in the long term. They want to see results in this immediate moment to continue investing. But if you want to build something sustainable in time, you need to have a long-term plan. So they are conflicted about this. Okay, I will invest that amount of money this year, but do I need to be constantly investing the same amount of money for the next 10, 20 years? And that's something that it's conflict. It's a conflict for them.
Yeah.
They decide, okay, why you tell me that I need to prove this, to try this, to test this, and then now in this moment budget for the next 20 years? Why? It's a concept thing. So what I always recommend them is, okay, try. Invest that amount of money, but in that amount of money, take just a small piece for future. So start this. If you are renting, buying something like, for example, servers, no, servers, something that simple. Um, so you're investing with servers. Take something bigger in this moment that can be useful in future, just in case you continue with this project.
Yeah.
If you are something that I discourage very much my clients is to create a big that database, the mega database, where they have all the information gathered together. Um, and when I say, and they say, okay, this is a project by itself. Yeah, don't start with this. Don't eat the whole cake now at this moment.
Yeah.
Start with some slices. Start with this project. Put on only the basis, and then if everything wins, the money will come along.
Yeah. Yeah.
The budget money will come along. I don't know if I answered with this
Oh,
your
yeah, no,
question.
spot on, spot on. And it really is thinking it's that balance of, uh, having a long-term strategy, but also getting some wins, and also being able to celebrate some of, hey, look what we accomplished. And I think as an organization, being able to start small, being able to get a success, and being able to say, oh, from here we can build because we've got confidence and we believe that we can do it. So yeah, yeah. And just thinking, we're half a month into 2025 somehow. And for me, it's amazing. It's 25 years since Y2K. And
Mm-hmm.
and uh, look at where we've,
Well,
look at where we've come. And just thinking as we're heading into, as we're heading into the early months here, what steps can leaders take to start to build and start to build and then sustain momentum throughout this year and the coming years from an AI perspective?
I,
Yeah,
I'm constant with this, but to start with something, try it, move forward, decide a low-hanging fruit project, something that make you a big win, quick big win. Choose that project. Try. Most and my recommendation is always don't put your high value into this balance if you are afraid of this. Don't move there because you will be in a big stress every day. But what about that project that probably you are not understanding pretty well, that they haven't been moving well? I always say, okay, e-commerce, probably your e-commerce for some retail company, your e-commerce project is not moving as fast as you are thinking. Have you ever wanted to start with that?
yeah,
Have you ever started in our cases, there are some human resources projects that they have been lacking for many time, and they are conflicted and they don't know how to move forward. Let's understand it with AI. Move forward there, implement it, understand, feel the
yeah,
results of this, the benefit that you may have with AI, and then you will have a concrete win on this,
yeah,
and you will take courage for next steps.
yeah. Excellent. No, I think that's some great advice. And we have a couple of questions from the audience. So I'll
Okay.
go to the first. I'll go to the first question. And again, if there's additional questions, please do type them in the chat. And Hen, thank you for sharing them with me. So the first question is, from your point of view, what are the first functions / activities in an organization that can be supported with AI? And if you have some real examples to share.
Most important is that we have a lot of information now. They say that we have more information from a flight from London to New York City than in 2 centuries in the Middle Age. So we have a lot of information, and information is power. But sometimes we have a lot of power, and we don't know how to interpret. We don't have to use that information. So the most important thing, the concrete one that we always talk with our clients is use that information for take better decisions. But you can become crazy trying to understand, to analyze all the information, all data that you are receiving from many sources. Every single department had a survey. Every single initiative had a client response. You have a lot of chatbots. You have a lot of communication channels. You have now social media. You have a lot of communication. Try to integrate this one in just one simple voice, and try to put this one as simple as a chatbot. That's our first goal with our clients. And I say, and that's the concrete practical example. That's the way that we start with the clients. That's the way that we start with the clients. So we start with top leaders. And I like to sample this with always with some examples to make this graphical. I had a meeting with one CEO, and he received me. I was about to show all AI solutions that we have for them, and he told me, I have good relation with him, and told me, you know that you are risking humanity with your solution, putting risk. And I say, what? What do you say, man? And I was expecting a laugh, and he was pretty serious. And I say, really? No, wow. And I start talking about all benefits, and I say, and the main benefit that I'm bringing you to your desk is that you have in your computer a chatbot with all information from all your different resources, all your different sources of information, compiled in just one database, and you will have full interpretation with this. So if you want to ask what's people thinking about you today, you will have this result.
Yeah.
He asked me, can you do that for me? Yes, of course we can do that for you. And this is part of the project that we are presenting. So, trying to be concrete on the answer, data analysis and interpretation, smart interpretation, not wide interpretation. And you can train AI to fit into information with your goals, with your visions, with your objectives. Try to get perfect lean solution for your thoughts.
Thanks, Ernesto. And I think that's you're so spot on when you think about it. We're providing information that wasn't seen before and wasn't understood, and we're providing leaders so much more information, because so often you hear that whole it's lonely at the top for leaders. And part of it too is it's really hard for a leader to understand what's happening, potentially, somebody who's working in operations or somebody who's working out in the field, to really understand, hey, what is happening? But to be able to have that real understanding of what is happening within my business, within my culture, is tremendously important. So we've got one more question, and it's, do you think a new gap, and gap is in parentheses, do you think a new gap will be created in the near future between organizations adopting AI and those that do not?
Absolutely.
And before you answer, there was also a great call, by the way. Congratulations. Keep up the good work. So congratulations, Ernesto. And
Thank you.
Going back to that question around the gap between those that adopt and those that don't.
Yeah, I don't want to be radical on this, but I think that is exactly the same gap that will open with animals agriculture and the tractors agriculture. I see that radical. All leaders taking this because of they decide we have to make them taste this kind of solutions. After that, after they see benefit, they start to cascade everything, and you can see how those companies start moving forward, start taking decisions quick, fast, and accurate. So the proportion that I see is exactly that one, to have 100 tomatoes per day or 1,000 tomatoes per day.
Yeah. And I think you're so right. And I think the chasm is just going to increase. And it's just so important. So we've just got a few moments left. And before I get your closing thoughts, I just wanted to let everybody know Hand is going to put in the chat a link to learning more about SA Consulting, also Ernesto's LinkedIn, and then a link for Prompt AI. So thank you, Hand, for that. And Ernesto, before we close, do you have any closing thoughts? Anything you really want our audience today and those listening to take away and really think about this topic going forward?
Thank you. We are in a big chance to make a big win if we embrace this technology. We don't have to fear what will make us stronger. And it's sometimes, for example, reaction of that CEO that said, you know you're a threat. Don't feel afraid about this. It come to stay. So be part of this. Learn, read. I read something. Start with the simple. Take some good videos in YouTube, in Instagram, in I don't know, social network, and learn about this. Hear more about this. Of course, you will receive a lot of things that want to make you fear, but no, take the good part, take the serious part, take good sources. Once you learn, as Warren Buffett, you will invest in what you know, and you would make better for you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Ernesto. And for me, my big takeaway is just, I'm reflecting on your story about the leader back in 2009, who was already seen as being innovative. And instead of closing and finding ways to innovate, finding ways to find solution, and then finding opportunities for your team. And your story about how this person is now the president of their organization, and how much this enterprise has grown, it's because of being able to take some risk, and it's calculated risk, really doing your planning around AI and what you need to do, but also being an innovator and not afraid of, well, what happens if we fail, as opposed to let's win together with the solution. So I thank you today. I thank everyone for joining. I've loved this conversation. And Ernesto, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge, your expertise, and your passion. And to everyone, wonderful day. And our next webinar is happening on January the 30th. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you, Ernesto. Bye for now.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you all. Bye.